That's looking west, somewhat more west than southwest. And I'm right in the heart of it right here, where I'm standing. There's so many Sasquatch frickin' sightings around this country, these mountains right here. It's just silly. Might be able to hear that helicopter behind me, or we might not. Probably heli skiers. Anyway, I want to touch on something real quick. You know, there's a lot of people there, an email back. I talked to a fellow hunter from British Columbia who spoke of flicking the safety off his rifle and about to put a hole in the head of a Sasquatch being person that he ran into while hunting, just for the purpose of proving it, right? And just to be assured, for all you who might be curious, or if you find yourself in that exact same situation one day, just so you know that if you have the opportunity and you put the crosshairs in one of these beings' head and pull the trigger and blow them away and kill them. Let's just say you did that, or you attempted to kill them. You shot them, unprovoked, just because them standing there looking at you scared the living shit out of you, or you intentionally want to just dump one like it was like an unknown animal. Want to be the first one to bring it into the museum. Just so you know, and think about this one, is that these beings answer to no one. All right, they answer to no one. They do not answer to our laws and our rules, period. All right, so you got to think about that. If you found yourself in that position, you had the opportunity to kill one of these beings, and you did, that just let it be known that you just gave those beings the green light to kill you. Kill your kids, kill one of your kids, kill a friend of yours, kill your wife, kill your parents. You just gave them the green light to kill your horse, your dog, your livestock, anything and anybody they want. You just gave them the permission slip, the invitation to do that to you too. And they're not going to answer for it. They can do it, and they will come out of it unscathed if they take you or kill one of your loved ones or someone close to you, okay? So just try to picture that one and think about that one before you think you're going to go off to be some sort of potential hero. Just make sure that you understand that before you do something like that, you might want to change your mindset and think twice about that if the 1 in a billion chance ever arises. Obviously, do whatever you want. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do or not to do in this lifetime, but I would strongly suggest that if you do have an experience with one of these people, these wild beings, these wild people, if you do, try to make the right choice. Okay? Just try to make the right choice. Because I am a firm believer that it doesn't matter who or what. You go out and kill somebody or something just for the sake of killing it. I am 100% convinced that no good is going to come to you as a result. I'm a firm believer of that. I'm also a firm believer that if you kill one of these beings, you intentionally try to harm one, nothing good's going to come out of it for you. Nothing. It'd be pretty hard to convince me otherwise. And I do have a lot of stories of incidents of people killing these beings, and I will share them. Just haven't got around to it yet. Because they're in paper form, and that's why they're in paper form, and I have to read them from paper, and I never remember to bring one of those with me when I go out in the middle of nowhere like this. Alright, let's get to another one. Remember, you guys, I don't know what I'm reading before I read it 99% of the time. I really enjoy your work, especially when you speak of your grandfather. He reminded me of my own grandfather. Thanks for sharing. We know the giants existed. There have been many skeletal remains found. Goliath in the Bible was a giant. I know what I tell you now will be hard to believe. I see the Bigfoot while on guard duty at Fort Benning, Georgia. This happened in a very secluded area called Harmony Church, about 8 miles from the main post area. I wasn't alone. Another soldier, John Rothschild, seen it too. You won't believe what happened to us that night. Not only did we see a Bigfoot who was virtually unknown at the time, but an hour later we seen a UFO. I can't say if both events were connected at all, but I can say that was a hell of an incident report. When it was over, John spent a week at the base hospital. We were told to rewrite the incident report, and if we didn't get it right this time, we'd transfer to the Antarctic or Vietnam, and we wouldn't be coming home. Luckily for us, my uncle, Colonel Murdoch, was the provost marshal on Fort Benning at the time. He was in charge of all law enforcement on Fort Benning. If that wasn't the case, I'm sure I would not be telling you these events right now. We took a hell of a riding after that night, and I'm sure that is why John had the breakdown. After these events, Colonel Murdoch would send a staff car to my company area for me. He took me to his home every Sunday for family dinner. I think he was just keeping an eye on me. There was no talking to him. Very strict military man. Colonel Murdoch wouldn't even allow the new TV show MASH on his TV at home. Not long after these events, we were both promoted. Go figure. In your environment, I suspect you will see or hear Sasquatch again. If that happens, keep an eye on the sky too. I'm retired now, so I'll get back to watching events you report on. Who knows, maybe someday someone will have a similar event happen to them. I just hope they're not in the Army, if it does. Thanks again for all you do, Dave Conklin. Thanks for that email, Dave. You know as well as I do, numerous people in the military have these experiences, and probably the majority of them are silenced, right? That's the problem when you have people of authority over top of you. This kind of sucks, doesn't it? But thankfully nobody's got any authority over me. So we'll keep these experiences coming, without a doubt. There's no way it's going to stop. Nobody's going to stop me, ever. And I will be deplatformed on YouTube and Facebook, 100% for sure, when I decide. And that'll be coming soon as my own platform's completed, right? Other than that, let's get on with another one. See what we got. UFOs and Sasquatch sightings go hand in hand. Numerous times, just so you know. My first encounter was in high school. Myself and some friends were fishing some private property that had permission to fish. The lake is bordered by a decent-sized tract of woods, probably a few hundred acres. We were fishing for bass, and we were having rocks thrown at us. I yelled out thinking it was someone messing with us. I never thought more of it until years later when I had some more intense experiences that made me start to do research on my own. That's how I found your channel. On to my experiences in the ANF, Allegheny National Forest. My first time camping there, I was alone for the first day and night. Typically I would go a day in advance when we camp and set up camp, then my girlfriend and our children would follow the next day. It's just easier that way. My day was uneventful. I went up with our two dogs, a shepherd and a lab, and got all set up. That evening is when things started to get strange. I'm a combat vet and a civilian police officer. Not much scares me, and I've seen and done some crazy shit, but this night had me pretty uneasy. As nightfall came, I had a nice fire, my dogs, some music, and a case of cold beer on ice. Can't ask for a better night than that. Although I should have been having a great time, I could not shake the feeling I was being watched. It got so bad, I loaded my 12 gauge, took the dogs, and slept in my truck with the keys in the ignition, ready to go if I need be. I've never felt like that before. Wow, that is pretty extreme to make a guy of your nature react like that, right? And I can totally relate to that fright, man. The next day, my girlfriend came up with the kids. I shared my location by phone just north of Marionville, and she GPSed my location. We had a great day, and the kids loved it. Come nightfall, we put the kids to bed and were enjoying the fire when things got unnerving at best. My girlfriend and I heard what sounded like two grown men screaming at the top of their lungs, probably within 300 meters of us. Hard to say though. One was to our north and the other one to the northeast. My girlfriend looked at me startled, and I told her it was just coyotes, knowing damn well it wasn't. The screams sounded like a grown man, but were so deep and loud, no human alive could have made those sounds. Then the feeling of being watched came, and she felt it as well. We retired to the tent with the kids and went to bed. The rest of the night was quiet. Fast forward a few weeks, my girlfriend and I went back up together, just the two of us. We had a great time, and I was determined not to let my experiences ruin my love for the outdoors and camping. By this point, I've watched a lot of your videos, and had done some research of my own, and was convinced of what we heard was those beings, no doubt in my mind. My girlfriend, on the other hand, was skeptic, and made fun of me when I told her what I believed it was. That's unfortunate. On our last night in the forest, we went to bed early so we could get a fresh start on packing when we woke up the next day. That night around 2 or 3 a.m., I woke to the most blood-curdling scream I've ever heard, and it was close. It sounded like tires squealing when someone does a burnout. I remember being half awake and thinking, who the hell is burning tires this time of night? I immediately fell back asleep. It wasn't until the next morning when it occurred to me that no one could or would burn tires in the middle of the forest where we were. I remember the direction the scream came from, and it was to our north. Nothing to the north of us except forest and trails. No paved roads, nor any place to drive for that matter. I still hunt and fish and plan on doing more camping in the same location, but I will not go far from the campsite. I originally planned a backpacking trip where I'd go off the beaten path and camp in remote parts of the forest. No way in hell I'll do that now. The campsite we use is remote, but it's right beside a trailhead, and I feel like it's safe there. Almost like they're okay with us in certain areas, but make no mistake, I'd be scared shitless to go deep into that forest alone at night. Thanks for all you do and stay safe. Regards, Jay. Whew. Thanks, Jay. Thanks for that email, man. And you know what you saw. You know what you heard. You know what it was. I know what it was, and I know very well that you don't need anybody to agree with you or give you any confirmation verbally, right? They weren't there. So that's all you need. And it's funny, isn't that funny, that weird sense of security, that weird false sense of security that we get when we use our own minds to draw some sort of a line where they probably won't go, but we will and we're okay there. That's kind of funny, isn't it? I've done that to myself in a couple places. You know, one of my best hunting spots that I have, there's a bit of a cut. There's a line of timber, this line of timber, and I have a real tough time going across that line into that timber. But I go along that line of timber all the time. I hike up there in the dark, up the mountain in the big mature timber, no problem. But as soon as I get to that one line, it's almost like I've drawn a line there where I know you guys are on that side and I know I'm okay on this side. It's amazing how our brains come up with that. Because I have found their footprints on this side of the line. I mean, obviously there's no line for them. There's no line. I'm pretty certain it's just us and our brains trying to possibly subconsciously give ourselves the green light to go enjoy the outdoors at one given spot, because we're pretty sure it's safe right there, and they won't go there. We're okay there. You know? I'm pretty sure that's not the case in the reality of it. But whatever works to get our asses out there and keep enjoying the outdoors. Whatever works, right? Anyway, it is getting cold up here, man. Ooh, it's clear. The sun's, what is it? It's probably 3:30ish, 3:45. The sun's been going farther away at a rapid speed, and it is a lot colder up here than down the bottom of the valley, I'll tell you what. Well, let's see, what else we got here? Hello, Steve. My name is Joe Glenn, and you can attribute the story to me. You can use my name. I was born and raised in North Arkansas County, Arkansas, in the Mississippi-Arkansas White River Delta. 7 years on now. Spent much of my youth in those southern swamps and hardwood forests hunting small game and deer on my great-uncle's farms and forests. Drafted in 1969. Spent the next 45 years on active and reserve U.S. military service, infantry, airborne, special forces, comms, medic, chemical, and some less glamorous jobs. Retired from regular Army at Fort Lewis, Washington in 2014. And now I'm a retired nurse practitioner. I much enjoy your YouTube videos and Dave Plattis's. Don't know how you guys do all you do, assuming you have the same 24-hour days and 7-day weeks as the rest of us. You and your YouTube videos remind me of my youthful days in the Arkansas woods, and you seem much like my deer hunting great uncles. You seem to have the same game knowledge and woodcraft they shared with me and my cousins so long ago in their hunting camps, back in the 50s and 60s. Precious memories. Won't waste time rambling on about the subject, but I will relate here an experience to you and your viewers you may find interesting. Oops, I'm covering up the view. There we go. I have some Army Special Forces training for wilderness, mountain, and cold weather survival, woodcraft, infantry training, firearms, etc. at various military training sites in the U.S. and with the Canadian Forces at their Edmonton base and in the mountains of Jasper National Park. I've done some hunting in Arkansas and Northern California, solo usually, but sometimes with a friend or two. I've never encountered a Sasquatch anywhere at any time. I've spoken with good, honest people who have told me their encounters of Sasquatch, one or two of Native American First Nations heritage. So I believe in the existence of these creatures, not because I have ever confronted or seen one, but on the basis of good, honest, knowledgeable people telling me so. What more do you need, right? What more do you need? Good for you. Thank you for emailing. 2007, early summer. U.S. Army, Camp Bullis, just north of San Antonio, and Fort Sam Houston, Texas, and the Alamo. Hilly terrain, Army training, night land navigation exercise, dark, cloudy, no moon, in the bush, about 0200 hours. Searching for a datum point, I ran across a fellow trainee. We spoke. Then we noticed a glowing orb, bluish green, about the size of a softball or so it seemed, slowly pulsating. Bright to dimmer, to brighter dimmer, brighter dimmer, brighter dimmer, brighter, slowly appearing to be far off north of where we're standing, stationary pretty much. But about half a mile north of us was a low hill, so the light had to be on or close to that hill. I was curious about the glowing orb. My fellow trainee was not. Don't remember why not. Anyway, I started hiking for the light. My fellow trainee just walked away on whatever trail he was following. Curiosity, deficiency, but I could not resist. Supposed to be an individual effort exercise anyway. I walked toward the light. About a quarter of a mile later, on the hillside, I started closing in on the pulsating bluish-green glowing orb. When I actually got up on it, I saw that it was a spider in a large bush in a beautiful, intricate, silvery web. The creature was at least 3 inches across, and its web about 3 feet in diameter. The spider was black, except for his or her abdomen, which was translucent, large and bulbous, and glowing blue-green. I could see through its abdomen by its bioluminescence. It was veiny. Its glow illuminated the web and the leafy branches of the bush it was on. Mystery solved. A large, bioluminescent spider. How frickin' crazy is that? And it was beautiful. Probably the most beautiful natural phenomenon I've ever seen. I watched it for a while, and then I got back to looking for those elusive land nav datum points. Back at Fort Sam Houston, a few days later, I googled luminescent spiders in Texas. None. No known bioluminescent spiders or insects ever discovered there. No evidence, none known to exist. I know what I saw. End of story. So there you go. I sent you an email a few months ago about a pseudo-Sasquatch experience I had in the Jasper NP in Alberta. In September of 1989, Anzac Special Forces Mountain Winter Survival Training, and my First Nations instructor. Joseph Glenn, Little Rock, Arkansas. I do remember that email, Joseph, and I appreciated that email. We all did, and I really appreciate this email too. And I'm really glad that you pointed out the fact that stand-up, good, hard-working, honest people are all the word we need, and that is a fact. Stamping out the knee-jerk reaction of accusing each and every one of us to be a liar has got to stop. But a pulsing, translucent, bioluminescent spider abdomen. Wow, that would be something else to see, especially, would you say, a quarter mile away? That sucker was really giving off some light, wasn't it? That's amazing. I remember the first time I saw fireflies was in Mississippi, and I was just like, my jaw was like, holy cow, look at those things. It's just such a, not growing up with them, it was such a bizarre thing for me to see. It was really cool. I guess, you know, what is there, numerous species are discovered every day in the insect and animal world, aren't they? So it's too bad you couldn't have got a picture somehow of that spider. Even better, you had a video watching that thing's ass glow brighter and more dim. That's something else. What a lucky experience for you to have seen that. It's funny how many. It's kind of cool how many not so common experiences are being shared here in this channel, isn't it? There is absolutely no shortage of them. What a great way to gain knowledge. What a great way to gain truth and true knowledge. Is from the people, right? I hope all you guys are realizing that more and more as we go here, and everybody shares here freely and openly with confidence, right? It's pretty damn cool. And I know there's going to be a bunch of you that say, well, there's always going to be that lunatic that just wants to make a bullshit story up and write it in. If that's the case, so be it. Guarantee you the honest stories outnumber the dishonest stories. I will bet you 100 to 1, if not even more in favor of the honest stories. I'd bet high on that one. at this stage of the game. But anyway, it's getting cold, man. Hope you enjoyed this backdrop, and I hope everybody learned something. And for all you people that have been on the fence trying to get up the courage to share your experience with all of us, I'm pretty sure you're feeling more brave each time you hear one of these emails coming in, right? So there's no reason for you to be scared of anybody or anything. So stop being afraid and just get on it. Email it in, share it here. If you don't want to share it here, share it with your family, share it with somebody, all right? Because whatever the experience you had that's troubling you wasn't sought after by you. You didn't ask for it, all right? So it doesn't change who you are in the eyes of any other human being. So get off your butt and email it in. We'll share it and get that off your chest and start enjoying your passions and all this natural beauty that's out here to be offered up. Just get on it. All right. Good luck out there, you guys.